The last time I did this on the air, I got a little choked up, and I was thinking to myself last night, do I really want to do this and talk about some of the victims? And I said yes, because while we get involved in the politics of everything, and trust me, we are going to talk about, you know, Joe Biden giving a medal to Liz Cheney and how the right's losing their you know what over that. We will get to that. Um, and we will be talking about, again, Tom Homan. But I think it's really important that we talk about the victims, at least some of the names that we've learned that police have released. The names of some, not all, but some of the victims, and many of them are so young. And the last time I did this was after the Texas Uvalde school shooting, and I got choked up in doing it, and it was very, very difficult. But I also think it's very, very important to remember those that have lost their lives, because we get enthralled in the politics of this, sadly, and the right blaming the left blaming the right, although I'm not sure the left is blaming the right here, but you get my point. And it's important to remember these victims. And again, I'm just giving you the names and a little details of some of the victims that lost their lives. And it really is heartbreaking, and it's going to be difficult for me to do this, but I'm still going to try to do it for all of you because I think it's important. Matthew Penadorio, he was a young man with a family, with two loving parents who said that he always liked cracking jokes. Matthew was a young man who had his entire life ahead of him. He graduated high school in 2021. 27 years old. And it's heartbreaking, but I did want to play for you a clip of his parents. And I'm sorry, not 27, 25. My apologies. Matthew Tenedorio was 25 years old. And in all the reports that we've seen, when he heard gunshots and he heard people screaming and yelling and fighting for their lives, he didn't run away. He ran towards to try to help. These are his parents. Obviously, his father and his mother that are mourning the loss of their son. They spoke on CNN last night.
It's surreal, you know. To me, it's all of it is surreal. And like, you know, last night, my wife started crying. As soon as we found out, I held my composure and I hugged her tight. And you know, I didn't really cry. I did for a little, you know, maybe a few seconds, but you know, I kept my composure and just supported my wife. And I when we got home, you know, everybody was here, family.
Lots of family and friends supporting us, bringing us gumbo and
all of this,
fresh potato salad,
but this
and king
morning,
cake. Oh boy, king cake already.
But this morning, the gravity of the situation really hit home, and I just realized that I will never see my son again, and I just broke down, and honestly, my heart is broken.
My heart goes out to his family. I just I can't even imagine what they're going through. It's just awful. His mother said he was looking forward to having a family of his own, and unfortunately, that's never going to happen again. Tiger Beck was a wonderful athlete, a former Princeton University football player, 27 years old. His friends have said that he was a ferocious competitor with endless energy, a great teammate, and a caring friend. And he was supposed to be traveling home for the holidays and was planning to fly back to New York on Wednesday morning. 27 years old, lost his life. You might have seen pictures surrounding on social media of this man with what an incredible smile. Reggie Hunter was 37 years old. He was a father of two, known for his sense of humor. He leaves behind an 11-year-old and a 1-year-old. It's just heartbreaking. And then I'm looking at the yearbook photo of Hubert Gothrow, who was killed on January 1st. Young man who was looking forward to going to college his entire life ahead of him. Drew Dalphin, a 2023 Auburn University graduate, was also killed. Billy DeMaio, a 25-year-old. I mean, these are very, very young people, and it doesn't matter. I'm not saying it makes it any better or worse. I'm just saying these were a lot of young people that were out there in the streets that were just celebrating the New Year's. They were just celebrating with their entire lives ahead of them with their friends. Um, I'm looking at a picture of Nicole Perez, 27 years old, was among those killed on Bourbon Street, according to her family and friends. They say that they were talking and laughing, and she was happy. And then in an instant, she lost her life, and she was run over by this madman. Kareem Badawi, a University of Alabama student in his early 20s, was also one of the people who died, of the 14 people. It's just, it's awful. It's awful. I don't really have any words to describe how sorry I am for the friends and families out there that are grieving. And for those, listen, there's still people in the hospital that are fighting for their lives as well. We know right now 14 people were killed, but there are dozens that were injured seriously. And some of those people are fighting for their lives. These were so many young people. And I heard a story of a man who was in a very serious car. I think he's in his late 60s, a man who was in a very serious car accident in the late 90s, and he became crippled, and he was in a wheelchair, and he was struck by the vehicle. Amazing. He's still alive. He's going to make it through, but imagine what that guy has gone through as well. The stories are endless. I was reading a story of another 18-year-old who lost her life. 18. A senior in high school. These were people that were out there trying to just enjoy themselves with their family and friends. Listen, I've been on that street. I've been to New Orleans recently. And yeah, there's a lot of homeless. It reminds me a little bit of Fremont Street in some aspects, in that there's people partying, drinking, having fun, right? Wanting to have a good time. And then your life changes in an instant. And in some cases, sadly, your life is gone. And I've heard the stories. You know, I don't like hearing specifics of how these people died, because it's gut-wrenching. I remember after the Kobe Bryant helicopter crash, we had learned severe details of how the injuries and how they died. I mean, their bodies were dismembered. I'm not going to get into specific details other than the fact that some of these people were literally flattened by this car, hoping that they died instantly, that they didn't suffer. But I mean, it's just horrible. And as I say before, and I say again, my thoughts and prayers go out to the family and friends that have all been affected by this horrible tragedy. This SOB, this man that was filled with hate, mental illness, of course, but filled with hate, that wanted to kill as many innocent people as possible in a short period of time. Don't know why. But to blame it on Democrats, to blame it on Joe Biden, to blame it on the open border, which literally had nothing to do with this, nothing at all. Sometimes people snap. And we don't know why this man was radicalized, but he was. People just snap. I remember the October 1 shooting, a concert, by the way, that I was supposed to be at. And one of my friends was shot. And I was supposed to be at that show. And instead, I decided to go to a Vegas Golden Knights preseason hockey game that day. And then I went home. And then I turned on the TV, and we had over 60 innocent people that lost their lives that day. All they were doing were just hanging out with friends, wanting to enjoy themselves with family and friends, and wanting to see a country music festival. And that's a day that certainly we all here in Las Vegas will never forget. And this is a day that we will never forget as well in New Orleans. Let's stop lying about the criminal and the terrorist who committed this horrible act. Let's focus. Let's try to at least focus on the families and friends. Go to the GoFundMe pages. You know, I know the guy that was struck, that was sitting in a wheelchair, now needs a new wheelchair. People need to come together and help. Let's forget about Daniel Penny for a moment, okay? For all you right-wing MAGA morons out there, you want to donate money to Daniel Penny? Why don't you donate money to the guy who needs another wheelchair? Huh? He didn't hurt anybody.